Hey guys, Mr. Page here. Today we're going to be playing some Simic Nexus, what might be the only combo deck in Standard. And the combo is doubling your mana with Wilderness Reclamation, which one can only assume they designed to give you mana on both turns. But if you're interested in casting instants, it actually just doubles your mana. And we combo that with Nexus of Fate and instant speed card draw. The deck also has 4 fogs just to buy time against the mid-range decks. And a couple counterspells. Never hurts to have a couple counterspells. Blink of an Eye gives us some card draw and bounce. Help keep us alive. Search for Azcanta is another key part. It gives us the ability to dig for Reclamation when we don't have it yet. Or Nexus of Fate when we're already going off. Or when you do have a Reclamation, it basically just buries your opponent, and it turns the deck into, from what it looks like on the surface, is just like try to get lucky and keep chaining Nexuses. But as soon as you have a Search and 2 Reclamations, you're digging 12 cards into your deck, and it's actually almost certain that you will keep going off. It makes it a pretty oppressive deck to play against, actually, because you kind of you have a chance, but you don't really have a chance, so you just have to watch the other guy dirtle. And yeah. It's fun to be the other guy dirtling, though, because this deck has a really good win rate. I'm doing super well with it. So the particular version I'm using here only has 2 ways to win. To Krasis. Krasis is pretty good card draw, so I could certainly see putting more in, because you do occasionally get games where you can't win anymore. So they've killed one Krasis, and then you're trying to go off, but they have mana up to counter it. So you have to get enough Sinister Sabotages in your hand to resolve it, and normally 2 is fine. But it is kind of frustrating to sometimes lose that game where you just can't win, even though you're going off. And a lot of times people concede, but a lot of the times they don't. And luckily, like, when you do get the Krasis kill, it actually goes pretty quick, so it's not boring or anything. You just make a 7/7 Krasis, and you stop going off with Azcanta and tapping all your lands, and it's easy to get enough Nexuses stacked to get your 20 damage in. Let's take a look at the sideboard. Switch views here. This is better view for sideboard. So we've got some negates, obviously, to help in like mirror match and against control. But we have a whole slew of creatures. There's some Crushing Canopies, and then more creatures, another creature, and another creature. And the reason this sideboard's kind of built this way, I don't know if it's optimal, but I've been having decent luck with it. But against mono blue, you're basically bringing everything in. Like, I don't bring in the Nezahal, but every other card comes in, because mono blue is a horrible game 1 matchup. Like, they have Disruption, they have Early Pressure, they have their Crushing combo, the Curious Obsession, like, it's really hard to win that matchup. If I plug it into my result tracker here, mono blue tempo, this is a 17% win rate. Like, it is horrible. But when we bring in all these creatures, we kind of turn into just a creature-based tempo deck. Like, you've got your accelerants, we still have the growth spiral that's in the main deck, and then you get archers and harpooners that can block and kill when they come out. You get canopies for the big guys, and oozes to try to finish it quick. Krasis is obviously good against them, so you can certainly win. I mean, 2 and 10, like, it's interesting to note, though, that of the 2 wins, they were both when I was playing the deck, like on this side of the match, and I played a ton of mono blue, so a lot of my data has it the other way, and I just never lost this match on the other side. I think I was playing best of 1 for most of those, and the results are merged together here. So, but those 2 wins, the 2 of 10, or 2 of 12, they were because of the sideboard plan. And you're playing Magic, so obviously they can just get a bad draw or mulligan to Oblivion. But so mono blue gets 14 cards brought in. Like, Nezahal, basically Esper can't beat it. Like, when I was playing Esper, I could not beat anybody who resolved the Nezahal against me. I guess they beat it by killing you with Notion Thief. It lets them actually tempo you out underneath the Nezahal, but in the long games, it Desper typically is. Nezahal wrecks them, and then you do bring in a Harpooner here and the Crushing Canopies to try to fight back against those ridiculous Notion Thief draws. Ooze is also really good against like the mid-range decks and just giving you, letting you attack from a different dimension against somebody who's trying to disrupt you too much. Same thing with the accelerants. These are good against like the Kraul and kind of that kind of place. Honestly, I would just play this in best of one if it wasn't banned in best of one. To not have to worry about sideboarding. Just eat the horrible match against mono blue. But at any rate, enough jibber jabbering. Let's get to some games. I'm going to take this into the tournaments or events as they call them. Super, super positive EV in here. Like you get to 2 wins and you get your entry fee back, and you just end up gaining gold like crazy in this thing. When you do get the full one, you more than double your gold, and you get 2 rares at least, often a mythic, because these can upgrade. So highly recommend you spend your time in here, assuming you have the gold at the moment. Okay, let's get rid of that mono blue matchup. See who we're actually playing against in a popular deck. Okay. Like, I keep a lot of hands with this deck. I don't really like mulliganing. You're really just trying to get lands out and then win like crazy. So this is actually kind of fine. I mean, obviously it's not an exciting hand, but we don't actually plan to do very much in the first 3 turns anyways. So if we're against control, Chemister's Insight is actually one of the cards you really want. And against not control, then the Root Snares are fine. So we're up against Phoenix. Is it Phoenix? I'm sure I dropped the wrong land there. Distracted by filling in my data here. I screwed something up by dragging something around earlier. So this also doesn't appear to be a very good matchup. Oh, no, that was just the old result. Google Sheets get slow when you get up to... I have about 850 results in here now. It's definitely bogging it down. I need to find a standalone program to track this instead of a spreadsheet. But this being a 50-50 match, it's only 2 results, so it's not very valid data. But not many people play Phoenix. It's super rare. Like, LSV used it at the last Pro Tour, or Mythic Championship, as they want us to call it. But I think even he said that wasn't necessarily the right choice. So we're just drawing all Wilderness Reclamations here. Which doesn't mean we're not going to do anything until turn 4. But the Phoenix deck doesn't run a lot of counterspells, so we can just jam one of these out for sure. I mean, even if we didn't have 3 of them. Even if this was against a counterspell deck, we would just be jamming them to try to run them out. Taps up for Drake. Drake is still small. Later on, these can certainly kill you in 1 hit. So hopefully this Insight finds us more card draw. We can get the ball rolling here. They have shocks for sure, but they don't have a lot of burn, so I can certainly take at least 1 hit here. I don't have to use the Root Snare on a small hit. There's Henry. No, that's Tasha came to say hi. So let's put us to 10. That should be plenty safe. I don't think we can take the next hit, but well, certainly not with an extra Drake on the board. Just get our auto-resolve value out of that. So we drew a Nexus. So we might be able to take the rest of the turns for the rest of the game. Just trying to decide if I wanted to try to jam this Growth Spiral in there. Getting the other Reclamations down is better, I think. And the Memorial. So here's the annoying part of this deck. You have to manually tap your mana between triggers resolving. Spiral off. I think I could have maybe Growth Spiral between these things resolving. Could I have gotten another Insight off? Maybe, but... Hello, Tasha. Let's get X equals 5 Krasis down. We might be giving our opponent another turn here. We do get to draw quite a few cards to try to hit our Nexus. Okay, so we'll start with just opting. It gets us 2 cards deep, just the same as Chemister's Insight. And there you go. Pays to be lucky sometimes. And now this should be... we're running out of card draw, but we've got a couple Root Snares, so... We get a little bit lucky. This guy here has to find us another Nexus. As soon as this flips, then we should never miss on Nexus again. You gotta remember to put this stop on every time. I've found a way to tell it you always want to stop in your end step. But otherwise it'll just whip right through and resolve all these triggers and you will be sad. That big button that says end turn doesn't actually end your turn. So we gotta go and tap all the way through so that we get our 1 blue off of this guy every time before we sack him. Click, 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 click. My opponent is having so much fun right now. Just as a good doctor intended. Okay, we don't have to manually tap them now. In fact, we likely won't tap them. Yep, so we whiffed. But we got 3 fogs. Passing with 15 mana in our pool. Guess that 4 should be untapped. Can that burn us? No, we've got 6 mana for the Root Snares. And we've only got 4 cards in our graveyard, so we're actually gonna... We need to fire these Root Snares down there so that we get to search our flip. Search our flip. Flip our search. Live on Twitch right now too, and just realized my title was completely wrong. Just made it simple MTGA Simic Nexus. I will fog. It's tempting to do these fogs like in the upkeep, but you really need him to tap his drakes. Like this blocking bad. Don't want him to block. If he drops another Drake, then we have to go infinite down to our other Krasis. If he dropped another Drake and had 3 Drakes untapped, we might actually not be able to win. Oh, main deck Melodies. Okay. We do have to dig down to our other Krasis. So we gotta remember to get Root Snares off so we get 7 cards in the yard. I think I'm gonna hold this and just mill whatever shows up. I think it's more valuable to have that last one. And our insta stop on before we forget. Graveyard. Flip. And now, I don't think it's possible to whiff. Well, I mean, certainly possible, but... There we go. Right away, find the Nexus. Get this guy down. Oh, we can actually bounce the Krasis here. I gotta wait. So man up. He might have Spell Pierce. Digging. Counterspell's good. It's technically optimal to tap it all and cast this later on, but it's so much more efficient to let the auto tapper get your mana for you. I think it's worth giving up a little bit of an advantage just for sanity's sake. Go Spiral. Silent down so we can tap it before the untap. There's another Nexus. We did throw our Krasis on the bottom, so we definitely need to bounce this guy. So we'll just do Blink without kicking it. That many Reclamations, so you can't lose. Sideboarding break. I'm going to go let the cat out. I think that's probably what she wants. I'll be right back. Want to go out, Tasha? Alright. Now, let's see. How do we want to sideboard here? We obviously want all of our flyer hate. I don't like this view. Go back to this view. Flyer hate, flyer hate, flyer hate. We're going to trim some root snags. Flyer hate should be able to blank Drakes much better than that. We'll cut a blink. We'll trim an opt. Go down another opt. Now, do we want negate? I don't think we need negate. I don't know if this is perfect, but we're running out of time. We definitely don't want to use our original 60 again. This hand's got no card draw. We're gonna keep it though. The mana line's up fine, so we'll play with the top of our deck. Wonder if I should just be taking all the blinks out. Well, blink I guess is good against Phoenix though. Good, jumps through all the hoops and gets a Phoenix out of his graveyard. Throw it back in his hand. Then again, should we just blink that? Our hand's so clunky, I kind of need to kick this blink. Well, I think it's worth slowing them down. Their deck has a lot of 2-mana cantripy spells. So that actually does hurt them quite a bit. Especially if they're mana screwed. He couldn't do any of his cantrips there. Ooh, Azcanta. Yeah, that was a risky blink, but certainly when he's out of lands, that was an amazing blink. We just set him back a whole turn. Yeah, if he had been able to fire these, drawing all these extra cards off, he certainly would have hit that land. That reminds me of casting Boomerang on people's lands with Owling Mine. That was a deck. Do we do a 2/2 Krasis here, just to cycle it? I'm pretty tempted to do that. It'll also slow this goblin down. And we're pretty far away from getting much more value out of it. Really having this option is part of why Krasis is so good. Here goes a Phoenix. So I assume he's going to be able to pull that back out. He's just doing a Drake. Ooh, he should not have cast that Radical Idea. He definitely should have waited to so that the Radical Idea was going to be counted as one of his spells. He still would have whiffed, but we'll take the Growth Spiral. Let's cycle away nicely. Get us up a land. Now I think we probably just sabotage whatever he does. Probably not a Radical Idea, but a draw 2, discard 1 kind of effect. We're gonna even a Discovery. We'll shut him down there. Keep that Phoenix in the graveyard. I guess the big negatives here is now if he's rocking Negates, we just open the door for Negate to be second spell. Huh, yeah. I guess thinking it further through, that was pretty bad. Because now this just needs to find any spell. Where before it had to find 2. If I didn't intervene. Yeah, I guess if you think like what is in his hand where he's just doing nothing, it's gotta be Spell Piercer that negates. Because I assume he brought out his burn. And oh, let some shocks in. That's unfortunate, but we've got Wall of Fog here to get things going. 5 cards in the graveyard, so I guess this isn't flipping right now. Do I want a Blink of an Eye? I think we're at the point where Fog is just happening, so what would Blink do? Bounce a Planeswalker, maybe? We'll just mill it. If he taps out, we'll do this Nexus, but otherwise it's not worth firing it into a Spell Pierce. No fight over that, so it's got a weird hand. I wonder if he left Dive Downs in. We do have a lot of targeted removal. Could be dive downs in his hand. Okay, we get to flip this now. I think we have to mill that to flip. No, we did a Root Snare, so we can take this. Do we want that, though? We're already so low, I don't know. I don't think that's what we want. Okay, so... I think I'm gonna do an Azcanta turn and then go for the Reclamation. I'm gonna try to hit a counterspell. We certainly want our negates. We rushed through sideboarding too. But now that I realize we're getting in counter fights, we definitely want negate. Taking a bit of a risk giving him his draw step here, but the value of him tapping out I think is worth it. Especially considering we're down a Krasis, so there's only one more to actually win with. But looks like it costs us the game, and we don't have negates in our deck. Alright, let's sideboard a little better. We don't have to let cats out this time, so. So we want our negates for sure. Blinks actually seem pretty weak. It helps slow him down there a little bit, but I don't think that's where we really want to be. It's funny, I only left 2 Root Snares in and I drew them both. Do we want these guys? No, he left Shock in, so seems bad. Nezahal. He's got chop blockers. Who's also weak to shock. I think we want the other Krasis though. Yeah, let's try this. Got our Azcanta. Archer. Pew pew. Archer will make it so Goblin can't hit us too, so quite helpful to stem the early damage. He's not likely running any Terramanders that we can actually shoot down with it, but it might mean we don't want this Archer in this match, actually. It does block Phoenix pretty well. I kind of do want that, but I also want 7 cards in my graveyard, so I'm just going to mail it. We'll get that blocker down. It's possible these guys should just be the Kraul Harpooner, the 3/2 for 2. But this version is much better against White Weenie and Mono Red. Where the other guy's much better against Mono Blue and certainly this deck. We'd happily trade the 3/2 rather than have some sort of stalemate going on. We're not going to run that out yet. Not into negate mana. But it'll be pretty easy to get 6 mana up here. Or have him tap out and then we can take it down. Or likely both by the time we hit 6 mana. We might also need him to spend some of his mana before we want to pull the trigger. But we are set up to get the Azcanta Reclamation combo going here. So there, he did tap out, wanted to get pressure down. Do we want another one? We need card draw. That seems wrong to mill that, but I mean, we've only got one card in our graveyard. I think we can't afford to keep that one. We need to be filling the graveyard, we need to be drawing cards. This guy's small enough here that we can actually still block it, although that's risky business. You just do 2 instants and kill our dude. I'd say if the goblin comes, we keep blocking the goblin, but if it just he comes, we might want to take it. But it'd be so suspicious if only he came and the goblin stayed back. It's like he would want us to block. But he's not even waiting for to be sneaky in combat. He's just going to fire his spells off early. Yeah, see, he's so likely he's got something. It's just not worth saving 3 damage. Because there's no reason for this guy not to attack as well. Get in the graveyard, Forest. Ooh, Harpooner. Now I do want this guy dead. I think it is actually worth waiting a turn. And we'll chump block, and then the Harpooner can fight it down. We really need to draw some card draw. If this guy wasn't opt, would we be better off? We would have taken a lot more damage from this guy. I'm gonna turn that on for next turn. Actually, that's for this turn. I have to wait. Now that's for next turn. What do we have to do? Just 3. Oh, now he might not even be able to kill my archer. Jerk. Man, it took 3 for nothing. Well played, sir. Oh, he had more mana up last time. Yeah, we want that. So we'll just Harpooner down the Phoenix, I guess? He's likely to be able to get it back. It's annoying. Yeah, it gets the Harpooner in the graveyard at least. So hopefully we can flip our search next turn. Almost be better declining and blocking, I think. No attacks. We win by taking all the turns. So what do we got up? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 mana. So that's negate. Gross spirals. So we do have to do one of these now. So if I do this, they'll still leave negate, plus I can pay for spell pierce up. Go search. 4 in the yard, so that'll be 5. Mill a card is 6, and I need one of these guys to die. And we might be able to go off next turn. Which is fortunate, because we might die if we give our opponent any more turns. Good thing I didn't take that fight, because it looks like he's doing 3 spells. At least trying to do 3 spells. Nope, he's just hard casting a Phoenix. Mill for 5, this guy's 6, this guy's 7. So we don't need the archer to die this time. So just block this one. Growth Spiral. Tap land out. No, we don't want that anyways. Graveyard. And transform. We'll go to our end step. Hit the end turn button, even though it doesn't end our turn. Now, do we want... Yeah, we want a Azcanta. We don't want the mana. Okay, so we could Root Snare and hedge our bet here. I don't think we need to do that. I think we're going for gold. Nobody else gets any more turns. That's our plan. Kind of forgot the Electromancer was discounting. I didn't think he could have a counter, but we had a negate anyways. And we are going off. Don't forget to stop. Druid Archer so we can take down that goblin. I'm not going to play it, because it's just... I think if I play one, he'll just start blocking, and then I'm getting 1 damage either way. Do this in case we find a Reclamation. We'll do it in the main phase. I'm going to play like he gets no more turns. I guess I can play a little loose, I don't need to pre-tap. He's tapped out. Now we have a turn in the bank. A lot of people just concede once you start banking turns like this. Don't forget the end step. Stop. He might be AFK. He's had enough. That's the power of this deck. Let's see who's next. Seems like a good hand. Really, any hand where you're getting a search down, I think it's a good hand. Playing against some Zoltan. Zoltan mid-range. Almost certainly. We might have to update the graphic there. We countered this guy twice and crushed him both times. But this deck twice, not this person. The old turn 3 Llanowar Elves right on time. Full art Vraska. Destroy target, search for Azcanta. We can save it with the blink, and we certainly will.
Lucky you.
She's got a pretty weak plus, luckily. You have to sack a land to get any value out of it. It is a +2 though, so she can snipe down our search if we put it back out. I think we have to try though. I don't think I'm going to be able to get this to resolve. Or to flip, rather. We're at 2, we're going up to 4. It can flip a 5th. But then she gets to kill. So in my upkeep, I could do a Chemister's Insight to get up to 6. Ooh, that's a quick large Krasis.
Everyone is expendable, except me.
Ooh, eats his elf. Poor elf. Late to the party and then gets eaten by Vraska. Alright, let's see if we can find a way to flip this search. Actually, a couple lands would possibly let me Nexus. I think I really need like another opt though. Another search works. So 4, that'll be 5, 6. Yeah, we're not gonna have to. Ooh, do we want that? I really want a card in my graveyard, but maybe we just want that. I think we just want that. Just go digging for a reclamation. Don't want you, don't want you, don't really want, I kind of want to land, but I think I'll find a land without leaving one. Ooh, and there's the reclamation. So we'll see if he's gung-ho at oh! Another disenchant planeswalker.
This is nothing.
So if we say go with an enchantment, it's dead. So we have to go off the turn that we play these. Which luckily we can do, I think. Yes. This will work out. That can come into play tapped. Reclamation, we go search. We have counter lands. We take another turn. Congratulations on all the planeswalkers, but I get all the turns. Oh, I will accept that. First, so we can get land down. Bug. He's had enough. Alright, what do we want to sideboard against these fine folks? I think we want some creatures. Maybe. Maybe we're kind of already set up. He seems planeswalker heavy, so we'll go negate. Do we want the druids? What will we cut? Actually, he's almost certainly bringing in Thief of Sanity, come to think of it. So I need my anti-thief trio here. We'll cut the fogs because he seems like he's not the Wild Growth Walker Explorer version. So he's not going to kill us quick. We'll cut the blinks. We've only got 3 cards against Thief. If we want the extra Krasis. I think we want the extra Krasis. We'll cut and opt for it. He's going to bring in a lot of discards so the Krasis can help rebuild a hand if we draw it off the top of our deck. Okay, so we've got our anti-thief card. This is good. Now, like I said, he's bringing in a lot of duress kind of effects, so... Oh, look, ball to 5. Kept one on top. Later Elf, much more prompt. Game 2. He does have the Explorer package. He's running both tons of Planeswalkers and Explore guys. Although I guess maybe he's only running like a handful of Planeswalkers and just happened to draw for Azcanta. Keeps 2 mana up. So he's got a Negate. Make it hard to stick this Reclamation. But I'm content firing off a Chemister's Insight and wait for him to tap up for a Planeswalker or something. He's not pressuring us. He's not even attacking. Okay. That's... Yeah, that's interesting. Second Reclamation, so maybe we do... There's also a second Chemister's Insight though. We can just keep drawing. I don't see this resolving, so I think I'm just gonna pass. As long as I'm hitting my land drops, I think I'm happy. And this way we are getting Sinister Sabotage up. In case he drops Planeswalker. A little heavy on the Dimir lands. Respectable clock now, attacking for 4 or 5. His hand's getting pretty low though. Okay, so we got 8 cards in our hand. We gotta play one of these now. I don't think we want to pull the trigger on the Wilderness Rec though. I want to keep my Sinister Sabotage up. So we will try for Azcanta, and we can actually defend it. That might prompt him to go for an expensive Planeswalker to try to kill it with a loyalty ability. What do we got going on here? 3/3 Krasis, leaving up 2 mana. Throw my Canopy at that, and then we'll try to go off on my turn, I think. he's representing Negate. Let's see how quickly the game passes. He does get priority, so he does have a Negate. If we can find a land, we'll have Sinister Sabotage up behind Reclamation. There's a land. Didn't quite flip the Nexus yet, or the search yet. Stomp on our end. Here's Negate. Here's my Sabotage. There's another turn, and he's in. You should probably make your Nexus opponent play a little deeper than that. I feel like no matter what deck I play, like the Sultai midrange deck matchup is good. It just seems like such a weak deck. Well, I guess people acknowledge that it kind of is like the 50% deck, where you're just kind of even against everybody. Guess I could have done my lands different to not take that too. Ooh, this Sultai guy's got a lot more aggressive draw. Definitely consider just blinking the Wild Growth blocker here if he puts a bunch of counters on it. Certainly just going to take one. That's fine. Now we're set up to just counter his Explorer creature if he actually draws one. Keep his army anemic. Silly to do it this way, but be a little bit optimal. Now we're swimming in blinks, but blinking a 1-power creature doesn't seem productive. And I think we will counter that. Build that. Could consider blinking here. Just because I'm flooded with blinks. Yeah. I don't know, that seems pretty weak, but I've got a gut feeling I might have to discard soon to hand size and fire these guys off. Guess I want to hit my land drop, so I'm actually discarding blink anyways. Just do it this way. We didn't hit the Nexus yet. We did hit the search though, so. I'll take it. Do I even discard if I fire that? I guess we're done with blinking. Stop on my turn. So I could do a big Krasis, or I could do 2 enchantments. I could do Search and a decent sized Krasis, I think. 4/4. I probably can't lose that way. Certainly don't win this turn, but it's going to be hard to win without searching. I'm going to do both enchantments. We'll save the Krasis a turn. I think I've got so much mana now, I'll be able to... If I do find a Nexus, I'll be able to win. Here's a Nexus. That, transfer that, draw another Nexus right away, don't forget to stop. Another Nexus. Guess I should just get this Krasis down to get this game over with. Let's wait one turn. I don't want to have to keep mana up this turn to counter a black removal spell. So we'll get 2 extra turns in the tank, and then we can play Krasis. Again, probably not the most efficient way to play the turn out, but we can spew some value just to try to make this physically go quicker. So I want to keep 3 up for counterspell, which leaves 2, and then X equals 5. Sounds sufficient. Try to use his removal spell. And probably concede. Nope. He's just making us play the whole thing out. I can respect that. Maybe he's hoping I'll tap low. I was kind of fast and loose on the earlier turns, not tapping my mana like this, so. I think he's just making me go through the motions, so I don't think he actually has anything. Go ahead, the Krasis. Any lower than that. Should be 3 up. Yep. Almost forgot the end step. Let a little bit of mana value go now. Stuff turns in the queue to win. It's kind of silly to not concede here, but I guess maybe he walked away from the computer altogether. No, he's mosing over stuff. It's like when you still have a chance, sure. Don't concede. But when you're literally dead on board, there's no reason to make me click a bunch of buttons. Oh. Maybe he hates this deck so much he wants to punish me. Little does he know I'm having fun. Okay, so we want our Anti-Thief of Sanity cards again. He might not be as heavy Planeswalker-y, so I don't know if I want negates against this guy like we did the last guy. Do we want the oozes against him? I think we do want the Krasis. We're going to trim Root Snare and Blink. I think I kind of want Ooze. Let's try Ooze. Let's go one less of each and bring in the Ooze. See if we can catch him taking removal out of his deck. I really don't like the sideboarding this deck. But it's played Esper, I look forward to sideboarding. It makes your deck much better. In this deck, it just kind of feels like I don't really know what I'm doing with it. Like, it almost feels right to not sideboard anything sometimes. I want to not take that 2 damage I talked about last time. Turn 3... No, turn 3 I want this Sinister Sabotage, so we're going to shock ourselves on turn 2. Although the Gross Spiral would have snuck it out end of turn. Yeah, I guess I did take 2 more damage than I need to. Little nuances like that is a good reason to stick with one deck. Like, I've been playing a lot of Magic the last 2 months, but I have been playing a lot of different decks. Gives me a really good view of how the format plays out, but you miss out on the little subtleties with like how Gross Bile interacts with Shocklands and stuff like that. So he has infinite mana. He's got no blue mana. Did this guy have blue mana last game? Yeah, he did a Krasis, right? I don't know, the games are blurring together for me here. Do I want to keep Counterspell up? Or do I want to just jam the Reclamation? Oh, he's only got 2 black active. These guys are 6, so it's perfectly safe to jam the Reclamation. And now we do have Sinister Sabotage still up. I guess that's why they had to template this to untap at the end of your own turn, so that in his upkeep you aren't shields down. But it does mean you just get to double your mana together for stuff like Nexus of Fate. Which I don't think we'll Nexus right now. We're going to get an Ooze out, and then the Nexus is just so much better. We're unlikely to be able to like go off with only 5 lands out. So yeah, we're just going to Ooze. But now, even if we're not going off, just the fact that you double up on this stuff is quite good. And I'll make another Ooze here before the +1/+1 counters. I could bluff a counterspell, but like, eh. Getting more Ooze value is good. So it feels like Ooze was correct to bring in. There's a really good chance he didn't leave any decent removal, and this just destroys his board. Oh, he did leave removal in, but we still have a 6/6 out of it, so Alright. Pretty sure you didn't want to do that attack. Guess maybe you wanted to do that attack. I'm gonna Nexus. I think we might be able to go off here. It's tempting to do the same logic as last time and do the Krasis first, but we're not putting lands out either. So. That's fine. Let's see if that's time. I guess we're not really any closer to going off is the problem. Yeah, I should have just Krasis. Well, we're getting a bigger Krasis this way, so. Maybe cycling one of the Nexuses was fine. Should have attacked first, obviously. Might have taken it. One land shy of going off. Did he mill that or did he leave that? Oh, he left that. Why would you leave that? Him leaving that on top gave me another time walk, basically. Sure, we'll just fire through some hops. Oh, I'm not in his end step. Can't do anything. But I gave him priority back, which made both our lives slightly worse. Opt into Krasis. Sure. Maybe not. I need another land. I don't want to risk. Oh, I did find land. I didn't want to tap up for Krasis and then not have another land. And I mean, this Krasis should be able to win just fine. Especially with the search being drawn. Adding that search to the equation should probably mean we can find the final Nexuses we need. We've got 2 memorials sitting over here too to draw cards with. And I think we're experiencing yet another frustrated opponent. Contemplating his life decisions. Does he want to concede or not? Oops, oops. Oops, oops, oops. He gave us the good game, but he's not actually ending the sit game. It's hard to know like who's actually encountering this deck for the first time or not. So a lot of times when people make you play it out, they don't really understand what you're doing. More is fine. That. That. Stop. Alright, we're just going through the motions here. And I think I'm going to end the video at this point. I kind of wanted to get through the whole tournament, but these games do take a while, apparently. we might actually fizzle here, actually. I take that back. Don't go anywhere yet. This is a fizzleable position. Never mind, alright. Fire that up now. Don't forget to stop on the end step. Ooh, another reclamation. That'll kind of make things a foregone conclusion. Oops. Fuck. We'll just tap those lands for no reason. I don't think I have enough. No. There's only 3 mana left over, so. We missed an Azcanta activation. That might cost us the game, actually. Well, I mean, we're not going to lose the game. He's got a bunch of Daredevils out. Look at that. Rift. Are we gonna get punished for throwing those 2 mana away? The wrong phase. Nope. Not punished. Opponent's having fun with the emotes. Guess you gotta find your fun somewhere. So the intern button doesn't actually mean intern, which is probably what threw me off last time there when I added the mana early. Can we find the last Nexus? Top 12 cards. Yes, yes we can. Just speed that out there. Guess we won't go full optimal here, because that's good enough to win. Belharion, what you doing over there, bud? Alright, I'm gonna end this video here, guys. I kind of wanted to get through the whole tournament, and as you can see, like we're just blasting through it, and I tend to win the tournaments I play with this deck. It's quite powerful, but it's not the most fun, and sometimes you get opponents like the last guy who scoop late, and sometimes you get opponents like the guy before that who scoop early. I don't know. It's fun, but I imagine it's not great content. So I'll end this video here. I'm probably gonna play a lot more of this deck, building up my collection, and if you're still building a collection, this is a great deck to build to grind these traditional constructed queues, because you definitely are getting positive EV in here. So I hope you'll give this deck a try soon. Throw the deck back up here. I will put a link down to this deck list down in the doobly-doo, so you can copy it right into the client and give it a shot yourself. I had a lot of fun with it. I hope you had fun watching it. I know it drags on there, but I hope you'll give it a try soon. I'm Mr. Page. See you guys next time.